Damn it. You piece of shit. Is this a fucking joke? Oh, God.
Welcome to Morningwood Sports. I'm Corey. This is my goofy ass, always prepared buddy of mine, Cody. How you doing, Cody? Say hi to the folks.
I'm doing great after this whole catastrophe that's going on. Anyway,
Yet
yeah,
again, this
welcome
is
to this
episode
actual
3.
literal crazy train that we're
It's a
currently on.
crazy train. Episode 3, Morningwood Sports Live.
Usually third time's a charm, but hey,
Yeah.
we're on the downhill slide at this point.
It's all right. I'm glad that we don't have an editing team because they would probably quit and we'd have to find a new one.
Yeah, no shit.
All right,
Anyway,
so
yeah.
Here we go. Let's go
Welcome.
ahead and give this thing a roll here. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and get the overview.
We're going to hop into preseason football, week 2. We're going to do a little bit of baseball today. Outside of that, that's kind of where we're going to stick, I think, for the most part. And if we have a little bit of time, if there is extra time, we're going to try to start squeezing in a little bit of fantasy football just between me and Corey. You guys can take it for what it is. You don't have to listen to us because we're probably wrong anyway.
Yeah, but sometimes we're not. And,
sometimes we are.
And that's okay. When we're not, remember to thank us. When we're wrong, go ahead and talk all the shit you want.
Roast us. And just for that, too, just so everybody knows that's watching and has started watching, we are still going to do our TikTok on Sundays as well, but we're not going to do that probably until the regular season starts. And it's just going to be mostly about pick'ems and things of that nature, what's going on. We'll squeeze a lot more fantasy football, DraftKings stuff into TikTok world, but on here, we're trying to stick to more of a schedule and talk about what's going on. So, hopping right in, like I talked about a little bit earlier, Cam Ward for the Titans started off the season last week. He had a decent game this week. He was 2 for 7 for 42 yards, and he had one really good pass for 35 yards. Don't get me wrong, it was a nice pass, but I want to start seeing more out of Cam Ward than what we have. And he played 3 series and was still 2 for 7 in those 3. Granted, play calling comes into effect in that aspect too as well, but we'll see. I don't know. What's your take on Cam Ward so far?
Well, like I said, I think that he's going to. I think there's going to be a development here. Obviously, the team itself is a dumpster fire. I've said that once. I've said it twice. I'm going to say it a million times, especially before at the end of this year, probably, because they're one of the shittiest teams. Them and the Jets are down there in the dumps this year. But that's okay. I still think that they're going to see what they get out of Cam Ward, and they're going to be able to try to develop him for the future. He comes from Miami where they run a pro set, so I think he's got a little bit of a leg up on some of these guys. What he doesn't have a leg up on is his team sucks. He don't have any wide receivers. He doesn't have a lot of contributing factors around him. But we're gonna, just like us in this podcast, he's gonna fight right through all that bullshit and try to figure out how to stay alive and keep rolling.
And to be honest, though, I think Cam Ward has that mentality. A lot of the stuff that I've read, he's getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's watching tape. He's trying to get his players more motivated, and
I saw him trying to get him motivated. I saw him trying to get him hold him accountable, which I think is a good leadership role.
And he should. He needs to take on those leadership skills as a quarterback, and that's one of the big things to do. You got to get your teammates on your side, and
I think he's got a little bit of an uphill battle on that because I think a lot of people it put a bad taste in their mouth the way that he handled the bowl season and that bowl game that he was in, because that was not a leadership role that he played in that. And I think that he's kind of having to make up for that. And kudos to him for either him figuring that out or somebody telling him, hey, listen, you got to do this, dude.
He's giving it his all. And hats off to Cam Ward. I hope he turns out well. It's just like any NFL player that gets drafted. I hope for the best. Hopping into the next rookies for us right now would be hopping into the Browns game against the Eagles. We did not see Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders had an oblique injury earlier this week, and which is, it's a big setback for a rookie quarterback being taken in the 5th round.
Yeah.
and the way he had a very good week one of preseason, I was actually excited to see what Shador actually did this week. And getting that injury, it's a big setback for him, and it gave Dylan Gabriel a big shot, and he came out swinging. He was 13 of 18 for 140 some yards, had a pick, no touchdowns, but completing passes.
Yeah.
He was pretty accurate with his throws. Um, it's going to be one of those things, and we obviously all kind of have to assume that Joe Flacco is going to take on the starting role, and we haven't seen him in preseason yet. And there's probably for that reason they drafted two quarterbacks, and they want to see what they got. Plus, they brought in Tyler Huntley because they were having some injuries, especially with Dylan Gabriel in the beginning of the season
Well,
or the beginning of the off season. So we'll see what we get. You know, going back to it, I don't see them keeping. They also got Kenny Pickett. That's a lot of quarterbacks. And Kenny Pickett's been hurt the entire offseason. So far, all of preseason, has not played yet for the Browns. And Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel are kind of lighting it up for two guys that I could see them keeping those two guys for the fact that they drafted them this year. And in the same draft, on top of that, I could see Joe Flacco keeping that starting role. And I feel like we're just going to come down to who's going to be number two and who's going to be number three. I see them taking three quarterbacks through the season. Carrying forward would be a lot. And you're giving up a good roster spot for some talent for any other position on that team of need. And they need it everywhere besides defensive end because they got Myles Garrett.
well, I honestly think that yeah, the reality is Kenny Pickett is the odd man out here. He if he would have came in and he'd have played really well, he might have been able to push one of these rookies out. Even then, I don't know. I think that they would just use him as draft bait even then. But
Which they're probably still going to do.
they're going to still do it. He's just not helping his cause by being hurt. James Winston's doing a lot better job at helping with that than he is. But the fact still remains. I think that Dylan Gabriel is too small. He looks eye to eye with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's really good, and guess what? He's still not very good in the NFL. Why?
No.
He's too damn small. He's fast. He's elite. He's got a good arm. He can throw the ball around, but he's too damn small. It's hard for him to see over the offensive line, and that's why they got to roll the pocket.
It's got to be hard to read your defense at that point too. And we saw one small quarterback be successful for a long time, and that was Drew Brees. And then you had Russell Wilson after that, and Russell Wilson obviously still in the league. We're going to get into him here in just a little bit when we talk about that Giants game. But you just don't see too many small quarterbacks pull this off. And Drew Brees is the one, and coming in second would be Russell Wilson for me, height wise.
Yeah,
Dealing with.
I get it 100%. And honestly, the reason that you don't see too many successful short quarterbacks like that is because of the awesome offensive linemen and everything are getting so big, it's hard to see over them. You were talking about Drew Brees. Sean Payton was a genius whenever he was down there because what he started doing is he started widening out the stances of his linemen in order to create viewing lanes for Drew Brees to see down the field. And he was just really good at anticipation throws, and that's something that really helped him out in his career.
Absolutely.
Plus, I think if you needed a visor on Drew Brees' helmet, it wouldn't be here; it would be right here because he was always looking up, trying to throw the ball deep.
You're not wrong.
But yeah, so that's why I just don't know if Dylan Gabriel's talents are going to translate into the NFL properly. Maybe I'm wrong. I was wrong with Josh Allen, but he's a huge dude. He's a linebacker that plays quarterback. So that's a whole different monster. But we'll see. I think that if you had to give me a choice today, I would start Flacco because he doesn't even need preseason. He's been doing this for so many years that he knows exactly what you're going to get out of him. So
he's played in Kevin Stefanski's offense before. I mean, he knows it. He's going to be able to run it.
And he's playing the role of a bridge quarterback anyways. He's bridging to the next generation. Will it be Shedeur? Will it be Dylan Gabriel? I believe that Shedeur has a leg up, even though he was a 5th-round pick instead of a 3rd-round pick of Gabriel. And the reason I say that is because he's more of a prototypical pro size, and I think he's going to do well.
He doesn't quite have the athleticism that you see in the quarterback role, but mean, you look at other quarterbacks that we didn't have athleticism, like Tom Brady, things
Right.
of that nature.
Right.
Drew Sanders, I think, has potential, and he is pretty accurate with his throws. I'll give him that. And I'm very curious to see how he does. I'm not talking any shit on Shador. Good luck to you, and we'll see how it goes. Ball's in his court, to be honest with you, because he has a chance, especially this season, to make a name for himself. I think.
Yeah, I think at some point this season they're going to put him in. I
I
think they're
don't.
going
I
to
don't.
have
I
to.
don't see Flacco starting the entire season. I really don't. Not unless they're like 8-4 and have a chance to make the playoffs, and I don't see that from that
Well,
Browns team, anyways.
realistically, Flacco doesn't move real well. Flacco's pretty slow. He's going to get hit, and he's
Yeah,
older, so he's going to take some wear and tear. So at some point, the backup's going to be in. They might both make it in this to start a game this year.
absolutely. And if they do, more power to them both, because they both have the chance to do it. We'll just see which one does better, and
Isn't
that's
this
what
a
we're going to see.
revolving story we have every single year that include the Cleveland Browns? Is hey, how many different quarterbacks are we going to see this year?
Yep. 3, 4, 5. We don't know.
We don't know. Call them up off the
Um,
couch.
Jumping into the Giants game, because
Yes.
we've been talking about more rookie quarterbacks. We got Jackson Dart that played yesterday. Jackson Dart had another very good week 2 for preseason. He was 14 of 16 for 137 yards, a touchdown, and he also had a rushing touchdown. And Jackson Dart again continues for me to prove that he was one of the better quarterbacks in this draft. Being that coming from Ole Miss and running a more pro style offense, I think he was one of the more ready quarterbacks. I was very high on him going into the draft. I'm excited to see what he does. Um, Russell Wilson, he was also 4 for 7 for 108 yards. Jameis Winston was 6 for 11 for 110 yards. I mean, all those quarterbacks are playing very well over there. We know Russell Wilson's going to get the start. My question is Jameis Winston the odd man out for the Giants at this point, because Jackson Dart playing as well as he is as a rookie?
Yeah, kind of like I was talking about Kenny Pickett, I think that Jameis Winston's going to be some trade bait at the end of the preseason here, trying to get some kind of return for him, and rather than just releasing him. And if they can do that, and I think there are some teams out there that would like to take a look at him, especially like New Orleans, where they got Rattler starting and stuff. So I think that there are opportunities out there for him. Let's just say hats off to Brian Daboll for having all three quarterbacks looking good. You know,
Oh shit! The Giants might actually have a winning record this year. To be honest with you, I mean Russell Wilson looks like he's playing very well. He's catching on to that offense. Brian Dable, his offenses can be complicated, but he did a lot with Josh Allen when he was with the Bills, and now you're coming over to the Giants. And again, I want to hop into this because it's one thing that I want to talk about before the season starts. One of my favorite times of the year, and it's kind of sad to say it's my favorite time of the year, but the end of the season, Black Monday, when coaches get fired. Who do you? I want to do like a small segment on hot seats for coaches
yeah, we can do.
going into the regular season, and we'll do that after week 3 is over for preseason. And I kind of want to just touch base on that a little bit, but my kind of just doing a quick rundown of it. Brian Dable has got 3 quarterbacks playing very well, a rookie quarterback that's playing well. Brian Dable was kind of on the hot seat going into this offseason to begin with.
Yeah, but
Do we see the Giants holding on to Brian Dable with having a rookie quarterback? Do we see Jackson Dart this year, do you think? Or do you think Russell Wilson does well enough that he holds his spot?
well, there's a couple things that play into that. First off, I wonder if Brian Dayball was actually tied to Danny Dimes, or if that was just somebody that got picked and he had to try to deal with it. I would also like to know that because he hasn't had a very good quality of quarterback since he's been the coach there. So this year he doesn't have that excuse. He has some good quarterbacks and they're actually responding. This preseason has looked exact opposite of last year. Last year their offense sputtered the whole time. They couldn't actually get points on the board. They've been putting points up in bunches in the preseason. I would like to see some actual meaningful football to see if that continues. If that continues, I think that they are going to have a winning record. If not, I think they'll be mediocre, middle of the pack again. And I think they're still going to be in the middle of the pack, but we're talking, are they going to be at the upper echelon or the lower echelon of the middle of the pack? They're not going to be an elite team that's running the NFL this year. There's just too many good
No,
teams.
I mean they're
But
not.
I don't. But they're
But
not going to
I am
be.
also
Yeah.
I am excited to see what Cam Scadabo does over at the Giants too. I want to see how much he plays this year.
I think they're going to definitely have to use him and get some packages in for him. I think he's a very interesting prospect as well. I've kept my eye on him. He's insane.
One other rookie that I wanted to touch base on while we're talking about some rookie quarterbacks here is Max Brosmer out of the Minnesota Gophers going undrafted and going to the Minnesota Vikings. He was yesterday 15 of 27 for 156 yards and a pick. The week before that, he had roughly the same week, I think, except he had a touchdown or two. But I'm talking, if anybody watches college football and if anybody's watched a Minnesota Gophers game, you know that there's no decent quarterbacks coming out of the Minnesota Gophers. And this guy's coming in and he's playing very, very well
The only
in
person
preseason so far.
that I even know that's ever
And
came out the
I
Golden
think he has a
Gophers.
chance to push. I think he has a chance to push Sam Howell out of the number 2 spot and take over the number 2 spot for the Vikes.
Nice. Well, the only person I can even recall that came from the Golden Gophers outside of this guy that I don't even know you're talking about is Eric Decker.
Yep.
So
So he's Eric Decker's same age as us. My friends from high school played against Eric Decker. He was from Cold Spring, Minnesota, and I had friends that played football against him, and they're like, the dude was just good in high school. Like you couldn't cover him.
yeah,
Clearly, he made it to college and clearly made the NFL, and he did great.
yeah, no, he was a good.
He had a very good career.
Yeah.
So hats off to Decker.
Yeah, for a white wide receiver.
Yeah, well, shit, right?
Right. I mean,
It's about as good. But how often we see a white corner? Not very often.
no, but there's a couple right now. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We got some other stuff coming up. What's the next thing on the agenda here, buddy? What do you want to go?
I was gonna hop into week 1 we didn't see much out of Ashton Genty, but this week we saw a little bit more with Ashton Genty.
Yeah, you know how I feel about the fucking Raiders, but yeah, he looked.
Dude, did you see the play?
That arm was sick, dude.
He trucked that Niners player so hard and
That
just kept.
That was a sick stiff arm. I have to give it to him. I mean, fuck the Raiders, but it was nice.
I am excited to see how he does this year. Obviously, he had a very, very good college career, and I'm very excited to see what Genty does. The other one that I wanted to hop into, not a rookie, but still talking about quarterbacks a little bit, Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett again this week, 28 of 40 for. He had 28 of 40. He had 3 touchdowns and a pick. I mean, again, Stetson Bennett had another good game.
Stetson A. Bennett.
Yeah. What's that?
Stetson A. Bennett.
But you have to start worrying about Matthew Stafford at this point if you're the Rams.
No, absolutely.
You're going into week 3 of preseason and your quarterback has not practiced or played a preseason snap. And that's your starter. You have to be worried. But the fact that what Stetson Bennett has been doing is 324 yards. I know he played against 1, 2s, and 3s that whole game, but it doesn't matter at this point. He's playing very well for a guy that did not touch the ball for a year and a half for the most part.
Well, Stetson Bennett is, he was one of those quarterbacks that was in college forever. He's probably 29. He's probably 28 years old now. You know what I mean? 29 or something like that. So he's actually been around for a while, and I think he's mature enough to understand how the game is. And I'll tell you one thing, the reason he plays his ass off for that team is they put their neck out for him, and they kept him around when they didn't have to.
Absolutely. When he had, he was drafted, last year, right?
A year before last.
Year before that. So yeah, he didn't touch the ball for 2 years.
Right.
He had the whole alcohol issue.
Year
he took a whole year out.
Yeah.
No, and hats off, to be honest.
Yeah.
The biggest reason why I bring it up, hats off to Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was king at Georgia.
Yeah.
Won two natties with him, and then gets drafted. and then had the issues, and he's done everything that he possibly can to overcome it. He's
Yeah.
worked his ass off, and now the last 2 weeks of preseason, he looks good.
Yeah, no, I'm glad it's paying off for him. That's a success story if I've ever heard one. Because addiction is real, and that's hard to overcome. And I hope the best for him.
Hopping in, I saw today we got a little issue with Malik Neighbors. He's got a back issue. I don't think it's anything crazy or serious. Sounds like a minor back issue. Just wanted to quick touch base on it because obviously we talked about how Russell Wilson's doing.
Yeah.
And Jackson Dart and Jameis Winston. You can't lose your number one wide receiver like Neighbors and hope that all those guys are going to be just as successful, because it's going to be hard
Yeah.
for all three of them.
Well, yeah, because realistically, he takes a lot of pressure off those guys because he's going
And some of the younger guys. You got Tracy for their running back, and taking the pressure off the defense for your running back, and on top of that, you drafted Cam Scatabo. So I mean, it's a minor issue, but for the Giants, they really need to hope that it's not a continuous issue, because that's going to make or break a season for them, to be honest with you.
right. Hey, I want to talk about something that'll make you happy, I guess, or maybe not. I don't know. But your old boy Sam Darnold had a pretty good week.
He did.
He looked legit against the old Chiefies. Obviously, I don't really care how we did because we're not playing anybody of substance. But it's
He came out swinging. What were his stats yesterday? I didn't even look.
he did well. Let's see. Yeah,
Pull it up, because let me see here. Seattle, right there. Found it. He was. Where'd you go? There you go. 4 for 4 for 34 yards. And I watched some of the videos. He was putting the ball right where it needed to be. And I think he's coming off of a very good season with the Vikings, 14-3 for a season where, when Sam Darnold was signed by the Vikings, nobody had us winning more than 4 games, and we won 14. Granted, they were very close. Some of those games were close, one-score games. What was that?
so we had Gardner Minshew out there going 7 for 9 with a TD, 70 yards and a TD.
Yeah, I still forget that you guys got Gardner Minshew over there. You got Clayton 2.0 on your team.
And we got Carson Wentz too.
To shit, man. Yeah, you do. And Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, and Bailey Zappi.
But no, hats off to Sam Darnold. I mean, everybody was like, oh, he's going to sign over there for big money. They traded away Geno Smith over to the Raiders and all the things, and they thought that was just stupid. Hats off to Sam Darnold, because everybody, when he got signed, everybody was talking shit, and he came out and he had one hell of a season for the Vikings.
No, he did. He did.
Over 4,000 yards. He had 30-plus TDs. I mean, he played
That's
great.
something that no Chicago quarterback's ever done.
Nope. Still, the only team in the NFL that has not had a quarterback throw for more than 4,000 yards in a season. The Browns have that. How sad is that? The Browns have a 4,000-yard pass before the fucking Bears.
Yeah. Yikes.
It's surprising. No, like I said, hats off to Darnold. I hope he has a good season with the
Seattle
Seahawks, because he had a great season with the Vikings and it was fun to watch. Too bad we couldn't have done more with it, but hopping into tonight's game for preseason. Duh, Bears. What do you see out of Caleb Williams tonight versus the Bills? He hasn't played a preseason game yet.
Well, I see a lot more trash, but I'm not a huge Caleb Williams fan, as you know. They were trying to say stuff like Patrick Mahomes 2.0, and I was saying that's some big freaking shoes to fill. And everything that I've seen is looked more like Josh Rosen 2.0. So you tell me, man. Like I'm not a fan. I maybe I'm wrong. They keep talking about how he's makes plays and he's a playmaking ability. That tells me he's holding the ball too long.
Correct.
And
and he does. I watched it in both games that the Vikings played against him last year. He holds onto the ball too long. He tries to make something out of nothing rather than just throwing the ball away. And I'm not an NFL scout. I just sit here and watch football. But we all expected, or we all thought, I shouldn't say we all thought, but what everybody thought going into the draft last year, that he was going to be the up-and-coming new guy, and is going to be the face of the NFL, and currently, I think Jaden Daniels, who I would have took above him,
Yeah.
is better all around, and
I
he's a better
you know, I
behind it.
called that before. I called the rookie of the year, and Jaden Daniels. I called that from day one. I thought that he was way better than Caleb ever was. But
And Caleb Williams made some great plays in college, and I'm not saying that the start of that season last year wasn't bad for Caleb Williams, but when they had that Hail Mary and lost that game, it was all downhill from there. You gotta be a leader. You
yeah,
have to
well,
turn
he's
that team
not
around.
though.
You have to do
He
it.
goes and cries in the stands, man. Like that's not. That's I can't believe that's who you choose to be your leader because. Like I'm not saying that emotion is bad, but like there's a time and a place. You can't be crying in the stands, bro. At the Rose
We need
Bowl,
He needs leadership skills, and I just don't see it. I didn't see it at
USC,
USC.
yeah,
I'm not seeing it now.
I don't either.
So we'll see. I don't expect much. I think he throws tonight. If he throws 10 passes, he completes 5 for I'd say 65 yards.
So and the thing is like
I don't think he's gonna do much.
no, and the thing is you can see everybody's seen that viral video where he misses the net and he misses the net and he like throws a temper tantrum and he walks off. So there's another one of the same drill where he's just drilling it. You're gonna get the bad press. Well, I'm not saying that he's a horrible quarterback, but like,
Absolutely not. I'm not saying he's horrible at all.
but
Obviously,
yeah,
for all of us watching whatever we find for videos, we're gonna see the bad press. That's all you're gonna get. The good press, the only good press you're gonna get is what you do on the fucking football field when
that's
we're
it.
all watching it live. What you see in the preseason and the offseason, all that, you're only gonna get the bad stuff. The
Yeah,
same thing with the Vikings and JJ McCarthy
because
and
that makes good stories.
any of the new rookie quarterbacks or any of the new rookie players. You're only gonna see the negative side of things. You have to show it on the field, and Caleb Williams, I think, has the potential, but I think him himself is what's going to hold him back.
Yeah, I think it's an attitude problem. I think that he plays the victim card too much. And the reality is, if he would take more accountability and fix these issues, I think that he could be a lot better, and I think he could have some success at this level because he does have tools, he does have talent, he's got he can extend plays. He doesn't have as good an arm as we thought that he did, but if you're going to be like Patrick Mahomes, they're going to judge you on how successful you are at that. And at this point, he is nowhere close.
Let's go for funsies. Pardon, just hang on 1 second because there's one more game that I wanted to talk about since we're sitting here still talking about football. And this one right here. So we have
What
the
about Joe Milton?
Saints Jaguars game.
Let's talk about Joe
Um,
Milton.
well, we can hop into that one too. But I just wanted to touch base on this one real quick. You had Tyler Show, another rookie quarterback. He was 9 for 12 for 66 yards. He got the start today over Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler was 18 of 24 for 199 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Not bad by either one. I still don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints.
I don't either. I say at this point they're both the same. They're pretty much the same stat line. They look so what Spencer Rattler is and what he can be. Why don't we see what the kid can be? You can always put Spencer in if he fails. And I think that's what they're, I think that's the way that I would look at it. Because if I think that you're close enough that you guys are basically the same freaking person, I know what you are. I've seen a lot more tape on you. You've had your shots. And then now I want to see what you got and if you can be successful. If not, I always got this guy's backup. I can put him in.
For me, I would start Rattler this season.
Okay.
I would start him and see what he does. You drafted him last year. You don't know what you have quite yet in Spencer Rattler either. You have an idea, but you also have a rookie. Why not let Spencer Rattler? I mean, he might only get 2, 3, 4 games, but at least that still gives the rookie some time to sit and chill a little bit, catch up with the pace of the game, see how things go. He's still trying to learn the offense. You got a new head coach over there. I would go with, I mean, even though he's only a 1 year veteran, but still, that's what I would do.
I like that you have a different take on this, but I think at the same time, man, there's different types of personalities and different types of quarterbacks. So some quarterbacks you want to sit and learn, but like if the person you're learning from is about the same level as you already, is that going to hurt or help?
You're not wrong.
So that's why I say what I say.
Hot take. Trevor Lawrence, bust or no?
Man, at this point, I think he's a bust. I think he's a
I think
bust.
he's. I was hoping for a disagreement. I really
No,
was.
I think he's a bust. I'm
I think
sorry.
Trevor Lawrence is a bust.
I
I gave him that first year of dealing with that shitty head coach. You'll remember it before I do, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt, and he hasn't done anything since.
you talking
They
about
went to the
you talking
playoffs
about
once,
Urban?
and they blew
He,
like a
he
what
had it was Urban
27
Meyer.
point lead.
He had Urban Meyer, and then he had a good coach in
Who you know? I said who you know very well.
right in Peterson. So it is what it is. Uh, but I think that he's just. I don't think that he's got the intangibles. I think that he's got just enough to be 20th quarterback in the league every year. Which
But he's paid like he's number 5 now.
that's my point. Like
It blows my mind. Why did they pay him? They had another year to see what they got.
they know what they got. I mean,
I
so I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying, like, that was
Daniel Jones 2.0.
it's okay. So Clemson had those few years where they did well, where with Trevor Lawrence, and then they had Deshaun
Absolutely.
Watson before him. But okay, that was all not them. Okay, so
No, it wasn't all on the quarterback, but you can't even
no. But what I'm
Deshaun
saying is
Watson
that
when he
was
got
the
drafted and
years
went to the
that
Texans, he had some very successful seasons until he,
But that
did
was the
what he
years
did.
that the SEC was down. That was the years that they were beating each other up and they didn't have dominant freaking teams. That was a little low.
Yeah, but Clemson's not an
Came in.
SEC team.
No, I know. That's why I said the ACC was able to sneak in because the SEC beat each other up so much that they didn't have any dominant teams to go into the playoff and beat them. And that's what.
But they both beat Bama, right? Deshaun did.
Yeah, Deshaun did.
Did Trevor Lawrence beat Bama for
Uh,
the Natty?
I think he beat Georgia or Ole Miss.
Not for the Natty. It wasn't Ole Miss. Definitely was not Ole Miss. But
Um,
outside of that, no, I'm kind of on the same page. Like I had all the hype for Trevor Lawrence, and was hoping that Jacksonville finally found their quarterback, and they didn't. It was OSU. Pretty sure. Pretty sure it was OSU. Outside of that, hopping out of NFL here because we've talked about it enough. Touch base a little bit of baseball. Um, the Brewers keep fucking winning.
and it
They now have the.
and it was Bama in 2019.
Was it Bama?
He threw for 347 in that game
Um,
and 3 touchdowns.
yeah. He had a hell of a college career, but it is not translated to the NFL.
Nope.
Hopping into a little bit of baseball here, just because we're one. Unless you got something else with football, you got anything else with football you want to talk about?
Yeah, I want to talk about Joe Milton.
Oh yeah, hopping into Joe Milton then.
Well, Joe Milton, man, he was making some freaking throws. Like he's actually looked really good, and I'm not big on.
The Cowboys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not big on the Cowboys, but I wasn't big on the freaking Alabama quarterbacks. I haven't thought any of them have been good.
Joe Milton was
Oh,
Tennessee.
Tennessee. He went to Tennessee Volunteers.
Yeah. Jalen Milroe was
Milrose. Yeah.
Jalen Milroe, Seahawk. Yeah, we can check his stats too to see how he did yesterday. But I want to jump in here. Joe Milton was 9 for 18 for 122 yards. They traded away nothing to get Joe Milton.
Right.
I'm interested to see what Joe Milton can do, and we all know how much Dak Prescott gets hurt, so we might actually see Joe Milton on the field this year.
Right.
It could be an interesting, kind of like what happened to Dak. It's how Dak kind of got in the role as the starter. They drafted him out of Mississippi, and there were some players that got hurt. He got in, and he stayed the starter.
Yeah, they got. And I'm interested to see how Drake May responds this year. What do you think he's going to do?
I think Drake May's going to do a little bit better this year. He started to look pretty decent towards the end of the season last year for the Pats. They gave him a wide receiver in Stephon Diggs, which I know he's probably more on his downhill side. He's at 31 now, but it's it's not going to be bad for Drake May. Then they also drafted Trayvon Henderson, plus they drafted a left tackle, who, from everything that I understand, is a little bit more of a project at left tackle, but I think from everybody's understanding, he's got starting capabilities, and I think he'll be fine. So, I mean, they gave Drake May a left tackle, they gave him another running back, and they gave him a wide receiver. Yeah, we'll see what he does. I mean, he. There should be improvement this year for Drake May with what he's got on the field.
I think so too. I'm interested to see how the Patriots are this year. I think they're going to be better than last year.
I think they're going to hover around that 500 win mark, and if Drake May continues to prove that he's going to be starting caliber quarterback, that team will continue to improve. Mike Vrabel coming over there, that's a whole different animal
That's going to
for a
help a
head
lot.
coach. It's going to be just the head coach is going to be a difference maker. He's going to be like what Dan Campbell became for the Lions. He's a difference maker when it comes to your players and being a player's coach and how he coaches them. I think he's the same. They're kind of on the same caliber.
He's a motivator. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dan Campbell's the same thing. Just hopping into the whole Jalen Milroe, since we were talking about Alabama quarterbacks, we got Jalen Milroe was 3 for 5 for 46 yards yesterday for the Seahawks. And I wasn't high on Jalen Milroe when he was with Alabama and even getting drafted. But hats off, man. He played well enough for his series and made some plays.
Yeah, against the Chiefs, you know.
Yeah, against the Chiefs. I'm just gonna hop into some baseball here real quick. I just wanted to touch base. The Milwaukee Brewers, man, they've been on fire this year, and obviously I'm not anything Wisconsin fan since I'm a Minnesota fan. They've been on fire, and they hit 14 games, which I think set a record for their club for consecutive wins yesterday.
Yep.
And they got some young rookies. They got that young rookie pitcher who's doing very well. I'm curious to see what those Brewers do come playoff season this year. And we're getting into those dog days of summer.
Yes, we are.
For the old playoff push, and you got the Mets, who were playing very well and are just dropping off dramatically.
I'll tell you this, but it ended at 14. Milwaukee lost today.
Did they?
Yep, in extras.
Final in 10.
Yep, 3-2.
3-2. I want to hop in. So the Phillies got one of my favorite players from the Twins, Johan Duran. Johan Duran has a cannon. He can throw over 100 miles an hour. His entrances to baseball games are phenomenal. It's like watching Mariano Rivera back in the day.
Yeah.
It's just awesome to watch.
No, he's awesome.
But he took a comeback right off the leg the other day. So far, the X-rays are negative, but out of baseball right now, because Johan Duran was one of my favorite players to watch, I'm sorry. I'm rooting for the Phillies all the way this year.
Oh.
And I hate Phillies.
I'm not a fan.
I don't like the Eagles. I don't like the Phillies. I don't like nothing. But you know what? I would love to see Johan Duran help that team out and get a win.
You know who?
When I watch my Twins trade away all these fucking players, I tend to, because I know my Twins ain't gonna make it even to the playoffs this year, but I tend to pick some of those guys that I'm like, I'm gonna root for them. And so Johan Duran this year, I'm rooting for you, buddy.
Yeah, and I bet you really hate Detroit, especially after they kicked your ass again today. But
fuck, we got our asses kicked. We were up 8-3 the last time I checked.
I'm just playing. You beat them 8-1.
We lost the last two. Well, game 1 we lost in extras by 1, and game 2 we got our asses kicked. Game 3 I think we won it. Big Bean, if you ever decide to watch our podcast, just to let you know, fuck Detroit. But no, we're starting to see some. Where's my standings here? We're starting to see a little bit of the playoffs coming to light, and now, I mean, Toronto Blue Jays lighting it up. They're sitting at 73 wins.
Yeah.
And then the Tigers sitting at 73 wins, but Cleveland's close. Cleveland's closing that gap at 8.5.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a ways to go
that's a
being
ways to
this time
go.
of year, but they've stepped it up. Houston's staying up front. Seattle's hanging right in there with one game behind.
That's right.
And I still think Seattle takes this division.
Well, I, as you all know, am a Cardinals fan, and I'm not very happy about it because we're fourth right now behind freaking the Reds, the Cubs, and the Brewers. 18 games back. Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be that bad if Milwaukee didn't go on their run, but even the Cubs are sitting 8 games back, and they have 70 wins.
And
I mean,
they are, and the Cubs are good this year.
the Cubs are good. The Cubs are good. The Brewers, which I don't know if we expected the Brewers to be this good this year,
No.
but their rookies are turning out, and it's lining up for Milwaukee to have a good run in the playoffs this year. I honestly think it is, and I hate to say it because again, not a Wisconsin anything
What about
fan,
the
but
Mets falling on their face?
the Mets,
Yeah.
yeah. And the funniest part is the Mets are sitting at 65 wins, and they're out of the wild card spot at the moment.
Right.
I'm like, and they were top dog in there for a little bit in that division, and Philly came back and ran with it. Philly made a lot of good trades though. Mets didn't do shit at the trade deadline.
Yeah, but I mean, how sad is it that the Dodgers are only one freaking win up on the Padres right now?
The Dodgers have had not a very good summer. Between July and the beginning of August so far, it has not looked very good for them. But fun stat just from the other game. Um, Clayton Kershaw pitched primarily with his fastball at that averaged 89 miles an hour and held the Padres to 1 run.
Yeah, well, dude, I don't know what he does. He does put like a little hex on the ball before he pitches.
If that guy has not proven to be one of the most just
Resilient.
coveted players to one team, just to only play for that one team more than anybody that I've ever seen, all the back injuries that guy went through, he has gave his heart and soul to that team, and I'm happy that they got a World Series for Clayton Kershaw. But you can't tell me that Clayton Kershaw is going to pitch anymore after the season.
No, not
When
89.
your fastball is not even averaging 90 miles an hour anymore in a
No.
game, it's going to be hard. But dude, 1 run. That team, you got Tatis, you got all these
Yeah,
players
the
that play for
best,
the
one of the
Padres,
best
and he held
ever.
them to 1 run.
Yeah, but one of the best ever, Greg Maddux, only threw like 89, 91.
But that was a whole different era.
I understand, but that dude was stupid good.
But Greg Maddux is one of my favorite players of all time. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying, whole different era of baseball.
Yes.
Now, it's the fact that you got players that are throwing fastballs on average above 95 miles an hour as a starter, no problem whatsoever.
Crazy.
It's a whole different era from
You have
Greg
some
Maddox's
starters
era.
pitching
And
100 plus.
what's that?
You have some starters pitching over 100 plus.
Absolutely. And then you got guys like I was just talking about, Johan Duran, who's thrown for, I think his top speed and when he was at Minnesota was 103.
Yeah.
You got to roll this Chapman that's still rolling in 104.
Right.
He just did it like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he's getting up there.
Yeah. And Jordan Hicks hit 104, 105. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
It's just I'm starting to see some of the players. I guess what I'm getting at is like guys like Clayton Kershaw and some of the guys that I've watched for the last 15 plus years. That whole era is ending, and a whole news coming in. Paul Skeens, and you got the I don't know how to pronounce his last name for Milwaukee, the rookie pitcher.
Yeah.
Murkowski or something. I can't pronounce it to save my fucking life. But dude, these guys are good, and it's fun to watch. It's not that often where you get to see guys like Clayton Kershaw and things like that leave, and all of a sudden all these new guys coming in that are doing just as well, if not better, earlier in their careers. So,
well, I think that goes to training and new, training techniques and the way that we use technology in order to help us with the way that we gather information in order to get better at these games at this point.
You're absolutely right. You're not wrong. I mean, it's just the difference in the games now it's crazy. from when I used to watch it. I'm kind of curious what's going to happen next year for baseball too. Are we going to go to robot umpires behind home
Find it
plate?
out in the minors, so we'll see.
Yep. Which, to be honest, the way we're getting some of these home plate umpires, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Some of them are bad. Angel Hernandez retired though. We're good.
But I don't know if he got retired or fired because he was just terrible at his job.
He was pretty bad.
Yeah, he was one of the worst. But outside of that, man, that's really all I got for today. I'm going to continue to do. We did have a small trade today. Just why I jump in here, we did have a small trade today between the Eagles and I believe Houston. Houston traded away John Mechie III, a wide receiver, to the Texans or to Philly. Outside of that, I'm surprised there's an NFL trade happening at this very moment before preseason week 3.
Yeah, well, fuck it. We'll see how it plays out. Well, everybody, just remember, it's just an opinion. It's not a dick. Try not to take it so hard. And until next time, y'all have fun.
Take care.
See ya.
Later.